Hearing today's speakers, I can guarantee you, I can promise you that you'll come away inspired and motivated with a lot of strategic ideas and understanding. So let's get started. There are leaders and there are innovators. And some may think of Barbara Weaver-Smith as a leader, but in fact, she is much more than that. She's an innovator because she finds new answers and new solutions to problems. But as witnessed here today, she is also a convener, a change agent, and a practical visionary. And the great thing about Barbara is, if you know her, is that she's absolutely unselfish. She wants the best, she's willing to give of her talents and her skills and her time, and she wants success for all of us. And that's what today is really about. It's hatching and growing that success and engaging each other in ideas. Barbara Weaver-Smith has an exceptional leadership background that spans higher education, not-for-profit management, and entrepreneurship. She's widely known as an authority on managing cultural change based on what we women, I think, do exceptionally well, on collaboration, not solely on competition. As president of the consulting firm Smith Weaver-Smith, she's led more than 50 complex collaborations for leading universities, for nonprofits, for businesses, and government joint ventures. And these projects have resulted in millions of dollars in private and public investment. Her background includes a master's degree and a PhD from Ball State University and an undergraduate degree from Anderson. She served as dean of the University College at Ball State. She was president of the Indiana Humanities Council, and she's been a co-founder of 2 thriving companies. For the past 5 years, as an author and a national business consultant, she's prepared companies for explosive growth after founding the Indianapolis-based company, the Whale Hunters. She'll tell you more about what that involves, why she's committed to supporting the growth of women business and women community leaders, and why we women are, as we should know ourselves, we are natural whale hunters. So you're in for a fascinating journey. Let's start it, and please welcome Barbara Weaver-Smith.
It all starts with a story. I want you to come with me to a place that's much colder than here, and much darker than here, and much more dangerous than here. We are on the far northwest coast of Alaska, and we are sitting as an extended family where we've been sitting all winter in an earthen hut lit by lamps of whale oil. And we are waiting. And we've been waiting since we first heard the pop of the ice breaking. We're waiting for the whales. Now, we don't just sit and wait. We send out scouts. And the boys from our village, who are 9 to 12 years old, fan out along the coast, and they watch for the whales. But if they see the whales breaching, it's too late. So they have to watch for signs that the whales are coming. So they watch for birds that feed on small fish that precede the whales. And one day they decide the time is right, and they run back to the village and they say, "We've got whale sign." And the village comes to life. We launch a boat. It's a little boat. It's called an umyak, and it's covered with sealskin. And it's very narrow and long, and it holds 8 people. Actually, it held 8 men. But for the purpose of this story, you may be in the boat. Sat in the boat single file. The one at the beginning was the harpooner, and it was his job to get close to the whale. The one in the rear of the boat was the shaman, and it was his job to sing the songs and chant the chants that would calm the waters and that would draw the whale close to us. We launch our boat. We have to be prepared to be on the open water, possibly for weeks. It's very, very cold. It's early in the spring. There's only about 4 hours of daylight. And because of the water temperature and the air temperature, it's very foggy. So everything is gray, and we're looking for these creatures that are gray. So it's not easy to find them. We have to fish along the way because we might be out there for quite a long time. And we have to mind the tackle and the rope so that we don't get caught up in it. We've been preparing all winter. Everyone on the boat is wearing, the boat has been scrubbed down with fresh water at great expense to bring it such a distance. And we're behaving as a team going after the whale. Finally, we see a whale, and we maneuver our boat up close to it. Now, you've probably seen pictures or you have an image of the harpooner flinging the harpoon. But the whale's blubber is many meters thick. And in fact, they can't throw the harpoon. They have to get right up next to the whale and deliver that harpoon into the flesh. Sometimes the harpooner got out of the boat and on top of the whale to set the harpoon. Now, the whale doesn't just roll over and say, "You got me." The whale is going to take action about this annoyance. The whale can dive and stay underwater for a very long period of time and suddenly come up and capsize your boat. Or the whale can head out to sea and haul you behind it. On the East Coast, they called that a Nantucket sleigh ride, when you're hanging on to the rope that the whale is leading out. And we have to keep our eyes on the whale and our hands on the rope and exert all of the strength until the whale tires. Now, when the whale is no longer living, there's one very important job that an unlucky person gets to do. This is the person who has to go over the side of the umiak into the water and sew the whale's mouth shut. Because if you don't, it fills up with water and sinks to the bottom. Now we have just as hard a job to get the whale back to shore as we did to get it out there in the first place. It weighs 100,000 pounds. It's the size of this room. It's enormous, the biggest creature on earth. And we are just little people in this little tiny boat. So we have to be smarter than the whale. We can't bludgeon a whale. We have to be clever and wise. And so we use the tides and the wind and the water to get the whale headed back in the direction towards our shore. Hopefully, we're going to bring the whale in somewhere close to our village, but we can't be certain. So those scouts are out watching for us to come back. And when they see us, they alert the village, and everyone comes to the shore. The children come, the elderly people come, every able-bodied person comes to help harvest this whale. One of the senior women in the Inuit community welcomes the whale to their village. They harvest the whale. Everybody has a job. From when you're 4 years old, you learn how to harvest the blubber. Then when you're a little older, you learn how to melt the whale oil. You learn to butcher the meat, and you learn to deal with the bone. They use everything, every part of the whale except for the whale's head. They never touch the head. When the harvest is complete, they row back out into the middle of the Bering Sea, and they let the whale's head sink to the bottom. Because the whale will be reborn, it's going to come back next year. When we're all done and we have stored all of the meat and we're back in our village, we have a big celebration. But we don't celebrate how clever the harpooners are. We don't celebrate what a good village we are. We celebrate the whale, because the whale is what gives us life. The whale hunters did a lot of things right in harvesting whales. As I said, they couldn't just speed it up. They had to be very clever because they weren't anywhere as near remotely as strong as the whale. And so they scouted and prepared, they hunted, they harvested, they celebrated. Partly why we think whale hunting is a great metaphor for modern business is that part about how they spiritually return the whale to the sea. If at the end of the story your customer, which is the whale, if at the end of the story your customer is dead, that's not a really very good metaphor. So have to keep in mind that at the end of this story, the whale has been reborn. They worshiped the whale. They revered the whale. The whale was the sustenance for their living all of the time. We say that a whale is a deal 10 times to 20 times bigger than your average deal. And one of the reasons that I have convened today an eclectic group of women who are business women and also who are educators and also who are not-for-profit leaders and volunteers and board members is because I think we may think of deals in business, but women do deals much more broadly than that. We raise most of the money. We organize most of the charities. We are leaders in the community. And as I look around, so many of you whom I know and the phenomenal big deals you do, sometimes women don't recognize or claim credit for as much big deal making as we do. We have found in our consulting practice, this is one of the most interesting things, among the clients who have worked with the whale hunters, we have a disproportionate number of women CEOs and sales vice presidents. And we've tried to understand why that is. There are several reasons for it, I believe. First of all, women are attracted to the story. We like stories, we like narrative. They're very drawn to the whale hunting story. Secondly, whale hunting built on the process that the Inuit people used to hunt their real whales. It's a totally integrated team effort. There's no room for rock stars in whale hunting. Even the youngest children are carefully taught what their job is. And contrary to some popular belief about indigenous people, whale hunting, the Inuit village was not a socialist village, it was a capitalist village. And if you did more work, you got more meat. And if you weren't going to participate, you didn't get any at all. So everyone shared in it, but not just even Stephen. They shared according to how much they gave and how much they contributed. The harpooner got to be the harpooner because he had a wealthy family. They had been successful years before. And I am pleased to tell you that the harpooner and his wife co-owned the boat. So she may not be paddling, but she's a property owner. I want to tell you a little bit about the whale hunting process to set the stage for today. We have created really a 9-phase process, but it's really in 3 parts: scouting, hunting, and harvesting. And when you're going to do a big deal, one of the things you need to do is decide which big deal you're going to do and learn as much about it as you can. So we work with our customers and clients on determining what is the nature of the whale that's ideal for them. And then we help them scout through the waters to get a list of those companies that are going to be the best places for them to do business. So we identify by name, these are the people that we want to go out and recruit to do business with us. There's lots of research and lots of preparation that goes into this. Once we've decided where we want to go, we have to find a way to introduce ourselves to that group. And I'm using the business metaphor, but it is just as true if you're doing fundraising or if you're going after your next big job or you're facing your next big life challenge. First you have to figure it out, research it, understand what's there. Second thing you do, what we call it, launching a boat. You identify your team. Who's going to help you? I identified a team, a boat, if you will, of advisors for whale hunting women. And this is not a nonprofit organization. It's not like recruiting a board to raise money. I've recruited people and said, will you help me figure this out? Will you come and be part of it? And they said yes. So even, as a small company, even as an individual person, you recruit your team, you launch your boat, go out after it together. And when you get your eye on that target and you bring this whale home, the most important thing is then you take really good care of it. And so we work with our clients on how do we become trusted advisors? How do we put ourselves into a relationship with our customer such that everybody beneficial, such that we are celebrating the whale. So for companies that are trying to grow fast, we think that whale hunting is an excellent way to do it. And for not-for-profit organizations that are trying to go to the next level, we think whale hunting is an outstanding way to do that as well. What we're doing today, the launch of Whale Hunting Women, it's not the end. It's really just the beginning. I have a vision that we can become and recruit others to become a powerful network of whale hunting women. who can do big deals together. Place where you can come and recruit a boat to help you do your next big deal. Place where you can figure out who else is doing a deal that you can be part of. Place where you can get support and nurture and enthusiasm and energy for whale hunting. And a place that's not only for women, but is definitely about women. We are very, very appreciative of those men who love us and do business with us and nurture us, who are here in the audience today. In your program, in the back of the program, you'll find several pages about the Whale Hunting Women program and how we envision it to be. What are the services that we want to offer into the community? What are the things that you'll be able to do? It starts with a website and a newsletter and a blog and a podcast, Brooke Green's Ultimate Sales Chick podcast. We are providing for everyone who's here today. If you leave us a business card, we'd love to invite you to be a member of the Whale Hunting Women Network at no charge for the first year. And we hope that you will be part of this going forward. I want to say my thanks to our presenting sponsor, Bose McKinney & Evans, and Jennifer Walker, who's the marketing director at Bose McKinney, is not here today because, poor baby, she's vacationing in Australia. But I called Jennifer and I said, I'm going to do Whale Hunting Women, and I think you should be a sponsor. And she was just right on it. She said, you bet. So thank you, Bose McKinney, for all that you do in this community and for being the first ones to step on board for Whale Hunting Women. I want to thank the Columbia Club and Martin Van Wyck, who's our COO General Manager. I'm proud to be a Columbian woman as well as a whale hunter. A number of my Columbia Club friends and colleagues are in the audience today. They've been very supportive of whale hunting and of my book. The Columbia Club has a membership booth here today, and we have wonderful activities for women at the club. We have the Columbian Women's Network, which does all kinds of great events, especially for women. We also have the Columbian Business Network, which is women and men business networking. If you haven't thought about membership at the Columbia Club before, I invite you to consider that today. I want to recognize 4 generations of whale hunting women in my family. They are seated over here. I have my mother, Jean. I have my sisters, Karen and Linda. I have my daughter, Claire. And I have 2 of my granddaughters, Megan and Marissa Weaver. 4 generations. My mom is a whale hunter who raised teenagers in 5 decades. And she's still here to talk about it. Thank you, Mama. I am very privileged to be the oldest of 7 daughters. No brothers, just all girls. So we are most definitely whale hunting women. I want to thank the wonderful Board of Advisors for all their support and for being here today. And most of all, I'm excited that you, the whale hunting women of Indiana, who've gathered here today to celebrate and support one another and be part of this launch of a new venture. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking a chance on me and a chance on us. I hope you have a great, great time. Very pleased to have you here. Thank you.